Our first participant is Jackson, and in his foot action, he's a step 1. He did step sometimes, and when he did, that was at a step 3. In his trunk action, he was a step 2 because he did a block twist or only upper body. In his arm action, he was a step 1 because there was no backswing. And in his humerus action, his humerus was oblique, so he was a step 1. In his forearm action, he was a step 3 because he showed delayed lag. In Jackson's overarm striking, his trunk action was at a step 2 because he had minimal trunk rotation. In his elbow action, he was a step 1 because the angle was 20 degrees or less. In his spinal range of motion, he was a step 1 because his spine rotated less than 45 degrees, and his pelvic range of motion was a step 1 because his pelvis rotated less than 45 degrees. So we couldn't find the kicking plan, but we found the punting, and we're going to compare Jackson's kicking to punting. So Jackson's arm action ball release phase, there is none. The arm action ball contact phase is actually a step 3, and the arms move oppositionally, and the leg action ball contact phase is a step 1. For the sidearm striking for Jackson, his racket action is at a step 2 because the racket swings before the trunk. In his foot action, he's either a step 1 or a step 2. Sometimes he has no step, and sometimes he has a small step. In his trunk action, he's a step 2 because he has blocked trunk rotation. And his humerus and upper arm action is a step 1 because his humerus is oblique. For Layla's kicking, the arm action ball release phase, there is none. For the arm action ball contact phase, it is a step 2 because the arms abduct, they almost move in opposition, and the leg action ball contact phase is a step 1.
Good job.
For Layla's sidearm striking, her racket action is a step 2. It's almost always arms. Her foot action, she's a step 1 because she takes no step. Her trunk action is sometimes a 1. There's no trunk rotation. And her humerus and upper arm action is a step 1 because her humerus is oblique. For Layla's overarm throwing, her foot action is a step 3 because she takes a short contralateral step. Her trunk action is a step 2 because she just uses her upper trunk. Her arm action for her backswing is a step 2 because she has a small elbow and humeral flexion. Her humerus action is a step 1 because her humerus is oblique, and her forearm action is a step 1 because there is no lag. Our next participant is Autumn, and her foot action is a step 3 because she provides a short contralateral step. In her trunk action, it is a step 2, almost a step 3, because she's mostly upper trunk with a slight twist. In her arm action, with the backswing, she's a step 4 because it's circular and downward. In her humerus action, she's a step 3 because her humerus lags. And her forearm action, as you can tell, is a step 3 because she has a delayed lag.